In this episode, you'll discover the ultimate 7-day Oahu itinerary that takes you from the cultural heart of Honolulu to the legendary surf breaks of the North Shore and everywhere in between. Plus, you'll learn how to navigate the reservation system that's catching a lot of people off guard in 2026. Aloha and welcome to Hawaii's Best, the podcast helping you plan an unforgettable trip to Hawaii. Here you'll get practical tips, local insights, and everything you need to plan an unforgettable trip. Aloha and welcome back. My name is Brian, the owner and host of Hawaii's Best Travel. Today we are talking all about 7 days on the beautiful island of Oahu. And we're not talking about the usual stuff. We'll get into Waikiki, Diamond Head, and all that stuff because that is important, especially if this is like your one and only trip to Oahu. Those are the things I would highly recommend that you do. But we're going to be building a real 7-day itinerary that actually makes sense, that balances the big name spots with places that feel more authentic and flows naturally. So you're not zigzagging all across the island like a crazy person. But honestly, Oahu is kind of a weird mix. You've got Waikiki, Pearl Harbor, world's famous beaches, and all this stuff that you've seen a million times on Instagram. But it's also the cultural and political center of Hawaii, home to most of the state's population, and a place with serious indigenous history and real environmental pressures. Planning a trip in 2026 can definitely feel different if you have visited the islands before, even if it's just like 2 years ago. The islands have moved into what is called managed tourism, which basically means you need reservations for a lot more things than you used to in the past. So you can't just wing it anymore. And, is it annoying? Maybe, kind of, but it's the reality now. And honestly, the intent of these reservations are to help keep these places manageable without being completely overrun. So I'm going to help you map out your whole week here, starting in Waikiki and Honolulu, moving up to the Windward Coast on the east side, hitting the North Shore, and then wrapping around on the west side. And this will flow naturally from urban to rural to country, busy, quiet. And by the way, if you haven't planned a trip to Hawaii, you might want to check out episode 132, linked below. It's about planning your very first trip to the island of Oahu. It covers more foundational stuff that'll make this itinerary, I think, way easier to execute. And this itinerary is kind of packed. It's kind of packed for my pace. We've done these packed itineraries before. We prefer not to do so packed, but if we're visiting Oahu for the first time and maybe the last time, this is something that I think would be very satisfying. It's doable. It's a lot. So go at your own pace. I'm going to give you options throughout the days. So we're going to start with day number 1, and that's arrival. You made it. You're flying into, we're going to say you're staying in Honolulu, Waikiki area. That's just the majority of where people stay. This itinerary can work if you're staying on west side, where we usually stay, or if you're staying in North Shore, at Turtle Bay or the Ritz, wherever you're staying, this could work. But we're going to base our home base in Honolulu. And maybe you're staying at the Outrigger or Moana Surf Rider, or anywhere in, we've also have stayed at the Royal Hawaiian. That's nice. We really like that for when we're doing like a couples getaway. We're staying at the Royal Hawaiian. But honestly, you're just recovering from your flight, maybe getting used to the new time zone, but don't overdo it. This is a great day to settle in, walk Waikiki Beach, just feel the vibe of the place, maybe grab dinner, a sunset dinner at Duke's. We love doing that, catching sunset right outside, right at Duke's. And usually there's live music, and just let the island ease you in. You made it, you're here. And bonus, if you're there on a Friday, the Hilton often has fireworks that shoot over Waikiki, and you can check if it's happening that week. Definitely a nice bonus. So rest, just get used to being on Oahu. So day 2 is where we really get started. This is where I think we'll call it like a cultural grounding day. It's a good day to kind of ease into your trip. And we're going to start at Pearl Harbor. Now, I think if you know anything about Hawaii, you probably have heard about Pearl Harbor. It's really not a photo op spot. It's honestly a cemetery, and over 1,100 sailors are still entombed in the USS Arizona. So it is sacred ground. The memorial grounds are free, but you'll want to book a reservation, especially for the USS Arizona. You can go through the recreation.gov. There's a $1 reservation fee. Also, there's no bags allowed. So not even like a small purse. There's bag storage on site. So just plan for that. But after Pearl Harbor, you got some options to go even deeper. There's the Bishop Museum. And that's like the real deal for Hawaiian and Polynesian history, educational, it's respectful. It's really comprehensive. Another favorite is the Iolani Palace, and that's the only palace in the U.S. which tells the story of Hawaii's monarchy before the 1893 illegal overthrow. And if you want to understand a little bit more about that history, about the overthrow, you can check that out at episode 115. Where I cover it in depth, and I'm going to link that below as well. All right, for dinner on day 2, I want to recommend something local, trying out Helena's Hawaiian Kitchen, and you're going to get some authentic local food there. Or maybe if you want to check out some of the breweries and street art in Kaka'ako, you can totally do that. The point is, you're building some context here. Oahu isn't just a vacation backdrop, but it's a place I think you'll realize after day 2, it's a place with deep roots and complicated stories and a complicated history. And another spot, just to, before I get to day 3, just thinking, Margaritas Hawaii is off of Sheridan. And we love that place. We've had those guys on the podcast before. Yeah, it's a great spot for drinks, great spot for food. Definitely highly recommend. And it's got a local vibe. A lot of locals go there. So day 3. All right, let's go ahead. Day 3, we're going to do East Oahu. We're going to start early. We're going to do a Diamond Head hike, and then you need to get those reservations 30 days in advance. That's $5 for entry, 10 for parking for non-residents only. And the park opens up at 6 a.m. So going early is smart. You know, day 3, you're probably still going to be waking up early due to the time change, but you want to do Diamond Head early because you beat the heat. The lighting is better pictures, and the views from the top are just stunning. And on a clear day, you can see the entire South Shore. So you did Diamond Head. It was epic. After Diamond Head, we're going to be driving the East Oahu Coastal Loop. So if you snagged a reservation at Hanauma Bay, that's amazing for this day. Maybe you're too tired from the hike, but it's all right. Day 3 is a good day to do some snorkeling. Hanauma Bay is like a world-class snorkeling spot. It's a protected marine preserve with incredible coral and fish, and it's open Wednesday through Sunday, and it costs $25 for non-residents. And that educational video that everybody has to watch before entering, it's actually worth paying attention to. Definitely don't just discount it. The goal is to try and protect this fragile ecosystem of Hanauma Bay. But if Hanauma Bay didn't work out, or it's just too tough to get in, or you're not wanting to do snorkeling, just, don't stress about it. Keep going up the coast. Stop at Halona Blowhole for a quick photo. We usually do this on our way over to Makapu'u Lighthouse Trail. And if you bypass Diamond Head, Makapu'u is another great hike. It's stroller friendly. It's paved all the way up. And in the wintertime, you may spot some humpback whales as they are migrating. Next, we're going to head over to Waimanalo Beach, one of the longest, most beautiful stretches of sand on the island. And that is followed by Kailua, the town, and Lanikai Beach in the afternoon. But quick note, Lanikai is a residential neighborhood. It's limited street parking. There's no public facilities, and locals are trying to protect their community there. So please be respectful. That's why we like Waimanalo Beach better. It's the same beautiful, beach views, but there's parking, there's facilities there. So up to you what you want to do with that. But right now it's probably around lunchtime, or you maybe want to grab an early dinner. I would recommend Barefoot Beach Cafe in Waimanalo or Waihole Poi Factory. Those are some good options over there. So this day is all about exploring the beautiful coastline of the east side of Oahu. All right. And just so you know, just because of time, I put together a PDF guide that goes into more details about these days, and it gives more options, more than what I can do right now in this episode. And I think for something like this, having it visual is important. So you can grab that free PDF in the first link in the show notes below that gives you this itinerary, plus with some more options and just some more details that I help with your planning. So day 4, we're going to head back over to the windward side. But today we're going to start at Kualoa Ranch. And this is a massive private nature reserve that's been, in filming locations for Jurassic Park, the TV series Lost, and a bunch of other films. And you can do ATV tours here, horseback riding, zip lines, or the Hollywood movie sites tour. It's kind of touristy, yeah, but it's legitimately beautiful and it's fun. And if you're going to do like one big adventure or tour that you pay for, I would highly recommend putting Kualoa Ranch on that list. But here's the thing. Kualoa Ranch, it's a blast and it's visually just incredible, but it's also important to recognize that this land here has deep indigenous history that obviously predates Hollywood. The ranch acknowledges this in a great way, but it's worth thinking about how we, interact with these landscapes. Are we just consuming the, quote, Jurassic Valley experience, or are we also honoring the cultural significance of the Kualoa mountain range? Kualoa Ranch does a great job, I think, in answering those questions and being mindful. So after Kualoa Ranch, there's some options there. You got the Ho'omaluhia Botanical Garden. That is a free activity. They are currently closed on Thursdays right now, and I'm not sure how long that's going to go for, but that started in 2026. Typically, they're open every day, I believe at 8 a.m. Just double check them for when they open. But whenever we're on the east side, this is a no-brainer. We always stop at Ho'omaluhia Botanical Garden because it is free. Views are incredible. There's shade, so if it's hot, you can cool off. You can do a picnic there or whatever. We would recommend definitely going to the botanical gardens. But if you're feeling active and you're up for it, maybe you want to tackle the Lanikai Pillbox hike in the afternoon. It's moderately difficult, but there's great views. Or maybe you want to rent kayaks in Kailua and paddle out to the Mokulua Islands. These are these 2 little offshore islets that are gorgeous. You've probably seen them in pictures. If you're driving up the coast, you'll see them. You'll recognize them. It's just a beautiful backdrop. But you can kayak to one of those, which is pretty cool. But you want to make sure that you pick a day that isn't too rough. My wife did it one time, and it was super windy, super choppy. So getting over the surf with the kayak, that was a challenge. Depending on the weather, it could be a nice, relaxing journey over to the islets. Oh, and by the way, I did do a full deep dive on exploring this area of the island, the east side, in one day. So maybe you want to check out episode 30. I did that with local photographer Heather Ienga, and she walks through the entire windward coast from sunrise to sunset. All right, day number 5, we're going to do some North Shore exploring, and you need a rental car for this. So if you are staying in Waikiki, definitely you want to rent a car for this day. The bus can technically get you there, but it'll eat hours of your day. So definitely want to rent a car if you want to explore the North Shore. Or if you want to get fancy, maybe consider staying overnight on the North Shore. Yeah, Turtle Bay, Ritz-Carlton, the Courtyard. That's more a vibe. We've done the Courtyard before. It's a great spot. We were able to do it with 3 young kids at the time. It was a little cramped, but we just did one night there at the Courtyard. But the vibe shift from Waikiki to the North Shore, it's huge. You're moving from urban density to rural surf culture, and it's worth doing and soaking it in and just going with the vibe and pace of the North Shore. And in the wintertime, this is where you can see those huge, ginormous waves. If you happen to be going during the wintertime, you can see that in person. I would start off in Haleiwa. It's the historic surf town up there. Maybe grab breakfast, browse some of the local shops and art galleries there. It's you just feel the laid back vibe and the energy of the North Shore. Then I would recommend heading to Waimea Valley. It's a botanical garden and a beautiful waterfall that you can swim under. It is paid to get in, but it's definitely worth it. We actually have the executive director on the podcast, and I'll link that below as well. A quick safety note here is if you do have any open cuts or wounds, definitely skip the swimming. There is a risk of bacterial infection. I'm not a doctor, but at your own risk, if you have any open wounds or cuts, I'd recommend not doing that. All right, next is Laniakea Beach, where Hawaiian sea turtles, or honu, come rest ashore. And you'll probably see them. They'll be on the sand, but you want to definitely keep your distance. That's the law. These are endangered animals, but so beautiful and great to get pictures from a distance but you're almost guaranteed to see green sea turtles, Laniakea Beach. For lunch, maybe you want to hit up one of the food trucks up there. We like surf and salsa. A lot of people want to go up there and try Giovanni's shrimp truck. It's good. I've had it a few times. It's not my favorite, honestly, but that's just my own personal. This is why hopefully you listen to the podcast, try to give you my honest opinion, but Giovanni's is good. But if I'm up on the North Shore, there's a couple spots I like to go to instead. Surf and salsa being one of those. And if we want to get fancy, we like the Beach House up there. It's a great sit down right across the street from the beach and just good vibes, good drinks too. So your afternoon really depends on the season whenever you're traveling. In the winter, November through February-ish, the North Shore is the epicenter of big wave surfing from Sunset Beach, Bonsai Pipeline, Waimea Bay. There might be some surf competitions going on. Always definitely check traffic, especially during the winter time if you're planning on visiting the North Shore. But these spots get massive waves and you can watch professional surfers absolutely doing crazy, wild things. It's cool to watch it safely from the shore. But if you're traveling in the summertime, those same beaches are calm. They're swimmable and they're perfect for snorkeling at places like Sharks Cove. And if you do Sharks Cove, definitely hit up our friends over at Sunrise Shack for a good after snorkeling treat. Now, on your way back, you can stop at the Dole Plantation, and yeah, it's touristy, but it's a good bathroom stop for sure. But if you got young kids, it's cool to do, doing the train. It's a nostalgic piece of Oahu tourism. We still do Dole Plantation. We actually just Dole Plantation a couple of weeks ago, and we did the whole train ride, Dole Whip. It's good. Just be prepared if you have kids to say no a lot because it is a huge store of just everything you can think of. So if you want more North Shore recommendations, you can check out episode 181, where I cover top best local restaurants on Oahu. That includes several North Shore spots, some we didn't talk about today. All right, day 6. We got to hurry up here. We're heading to the west side, best side, especially. This is the dry, sunny side of the island, and it's got these 4 protective lagoons that are perfect for families, calm swimming and paddleboarding. However, just note that there are no lifeguards on duty at any of these lagoons. But you can visit Disney, the Aulani Resort right there, Monkey Paw Kitchen, our favorite. It's solid, best Mai Tais. I'm also working on a Mai Tai copycat recipe that I think I have got down pretty good. So definitely you want to watch the blog hawaiisbesttravel.com for when that gets posted. But if you're feeling adventurous, you can drive all the way out to Yokohama Bay, and that's the end of the road on the west coast. It's remote, it's rugged, no cell service, very local. There's a spot also to eat out there on your way back in. It's called Pineapples. We ate there one time and definitely would want to go back for sure. But by late afternoon, let's head back to Waikiki for your final night. Head back, maybe have a relaxing dinner at Duke's or Maui Brewing, or I guess Cheesecake Factory. But when you're on Oahu or any of the islands, just, try to do your best to not eat at those chain restaurants, especially if you have those chain restaurants back at home. You want to definitely head up some of the spots that you can only get on island. But we're going to wind down. This is our last sunset, right? So we're going to catch the last sunset, take it all in. But day 7 is kind of a wild card. What I mean by that, it's kind of your buffer day. It's kind of your catch up on what you missed day. Maybe it's your travel day. Maybe you got a red eye that night, or you're leaving early on day 8, whatever that is. But day 7 can be a day to just maybe do the things. Recommend not traveling too far across the island, but maybe if you wanted to do Hanauma Bay in the morning, or maybe do Iolani Palace or Bishop Museum if you didn't do it yet, this is a good day to do that. Or it could be you're packing and you're getting ready to go home. But whatever that is, take the morning in. Maybe just do a slow morning. We like doing our last day, a slow morning. Right there in Waikiki, you got Island Vintage Coffee. We love going to Island Vintage, especially like one of our last days, getting their Kona Mocha. Yeah, I think that's what it is. So good. But I hope your trip was amazing. That's 7 days packed, from historical to adventurous to the urban to country. And if you want more detail, I go into that, specific restaurant recommendations, exact driving directions, backup plans for each day. I've put together a free PDF guide that goes along with this episode, and it's available in the first link in the show notes below. It's got everything you need to actually execute this itinerary. And if you want help customizing this itinerary for your specific trip, maybe you're traveling with kids, or you want to focus more on food, or you have, accessibility considerations, I offer one-on-one planning consultations, and I also included that link below. But we can build something that fits exactly what you're looking for your trip. So you can schedule that in the link below as well. So thanks again for listening all the way to the end. And if you did, I think that means we just became best friends. And so until next time, my friend, as always, live with aloha.
Mahalo for listening to this episode of Hawaii's Best. To stay up to date on future episodes, hit follow on your podcast app. Hawaii's Best is a production of Shorebreak Media Group with editing by Easy Podcast Solutions and music courtesy of our friends Stick Figure.